Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olsen, the Tolkien Professor, joined as always by my friend Gryfflet, who is ready to move on to the next stage of the Battle of Pelennor Field, as we we've now gotten past the arrival of Aragorn, so the eucatastrophe has happened, and we are in the stage of the battle that is treated in the book in like one paragraph, right? But it's going to go on, as I recall, for substantially longer than the equivalent of one paragraph in the game. So that is, I find that really fun, because of course, notice one of the main different parameters in between the book description of the battle and the game treatment of the battle is by nature of the game's adaptation, right? One of the things that the game has that the book does not have is like unlimited time, basically, right? And a cast of thousands of characters, way more than would be efficient to introduce in a story, right? In the like the single thread of a story. The fact that we know all of the people, right, involved here, that this battle is the culmination of just what, dozens, hundreds, possibly, of hours of game time, journeying through Eriador with the Rangers, through Rohan, through Gondor, and now we know all these people, right? And we're going to be encountering all these people, and not a single person who is named in the elegy, right, whom we know to die in the Battle of Pelennor Field. I don't think a single one of them is unknown to us now. And we're going to, like, each one of those things not only is a full, is a full character within the context of the game, but their deaths are also individual stories that we're going to see, and the triumphs of others who live. So I think this is very cool. So, hey, Raviolin, welcome. Glad you could join us here. I see you're joining us for the first time. Grumpy, I hear you about the Wheel of Time. I have read the Wheel of Time 4 times, but it's even there, it's not like here. I agree that certainly the Wheel of Time is more like that than the Lord of the Rings, which is why Wheel of Time is not as good a book as the Lord of the Rings is, but more even there, even in the Wheel of Time, which is an almost extreme example of an inclusive book, even there we don't get anything like the kind of exposure that you get to go town to town throughout all of the regions and the entire map and meet all of the local characters and get to know everyone. Like, even that is not is nothing like what we get in the game, because again, just the form of narrative is completely different, right? And it's one of the things that is that I guess that would always be my one word answer if people say, like, what is the greatest advantage of an immersive video game like this as an adaptation genre, an adaptation medium? And my answer would be time, because people are willing to invest time in playing, and you are in control of time. You don't have the flow of narrative, yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's it's fun. Anyway, okay, let's move on to the ruin of Pel Dúven, which is where we're being sent to next twice, both by what's his face, both by Bregdal, our friend, the errand-rider, whom we randomly recently met and who has been our guide throughout the whole battle. And Aragorn. Okay, here we are. So this horse takes us back to that field Where are we exactly? Oh, well, map check. Okay. So we have, right, here's where Aragorn and the forces from the south have come in and connected with, so they've connected with this salient of the folks who charged forward with Theoden and got cut off, but now they've been connected with, right, Éomer and such through here. We still have the forces around the gate and some of the Rohirrim up over here. That's what's Elfhelm, right? Yeah, the Eorl's folk. So we still have a bunch of work to do here. Though there's also, it looks like some retreating going on among the enemy here as well. The pretty boat, oh, that's Dol Amroth, right? Yeah, the Gondorian cavalry, right? Yeah, that's Dol Amroth. So that's going to be Imrahil and folks. Okay, cool. Let me see. This is one of my least favorite things about the map, is like there's never a place to put this. Least so with the keys over here, right? That I always want to see. Okay. Oh, Nir and Farharad are the two different. That's what the Mumak are Farharad. Okay. You can hide it. Yeah, I know, but I rarely want to hide it. Anyway, okay. All right, fine. So we are down here. So still near the Harland. Okay. All right. We're going to talk to Aragorn. There's Halbarad. Good to see you again, Halbarad. There's my my good buddy Bregdal over there. Okay, there's the city. Still see the battle raging in the background there. It's really fun. We've got a nice sunny day. Oh man, that is so good. All right, what do we got, Aragorn?
We meet once again, my friend.
And in battle, we were borne on the wind, and I held the unfurling of my standard for the very last moment. I knew the sight of the black sails must cause despair to rise in the hearts of the city's defenders, but I hoped to catch the enemy off guard in the confusion that followed the banner's unfurling, and so it was. The white tree is for Gondor, but it was surrounded by 7 stars and a crown above, and they are for Elendil. That sigil has not been seen by the forces of Mordor for a great many years, and seeing it again must fill them with fear and confusion. I have to say, Aragorn is here presuming that there has been a really good basic education system among the foes of Mordor. It's a little hard for me to imagine that if you first unfurl a flag that contains symbols not seen by the forces of Mordor for centuries, their first reaction would be, what? Right? I mean, that, you know, I'm shocked. But they seem to be really well informed. So, so clearly all of those lessons that they learned about the ancient sigils of the enemy have been really paid off for the forces of Mordor, I think. Okay. Halbarad, what do you say?
Some of the orcs lie in wait, feigning death.
Right, we disembarked at the Harlon and came to the ruins of this farm to establish a foothold on the Pelennor. The battle had already swept through this area and left many bodies behind, and now it proceeds on the outskirts of the ruins. This battle tide has a regrettable effect, Gryfflet, for not all of the bodies that litter the farm are truly dead. Some of the orcs lie in wait, feigning death, and spring up to surprise the unwary. We have already suffered some injuries from these play-acting corpses. Examine some of the bodies and ensure they are truly dead. It will not do to suffer any more losses from these treacherous ambushers. Okay. Find the fakers and kill them. So I got to examine a whole bunch of theoretically slain orcs. Okay. Phil, I doubt it. I mean, it is exactly like what I was just saying, right? About how the apparently long memories and very vigilant education system among the orcs which leads to the question, which leads some to speculate that orcs are in fact immortal like elves, right? And I strongly doubt that. Like, I very, very, very strongly doubt that orcs are immortal like elves. Yeah. Why does the Goblin King recognize Glamdring? From tales. Yeah, exactly. They have their own legends as well. And see, there it's kind of managed a little bit better. A little bit more clearly, anyway. That the stories of the great weapons that used to, like, persecute their people in, like, you know, that they would still pass down legends of beater and biter. I can buy that. It's a little bit harder for me to buy that they would recognize like the specific sigils of Elendil on the flag and be like, that is the White Tree of Gondor, and yet wait, there are strange sigils thereabout. What I'm teasing here really is, of course, I love the fact that the Lotro writers have incorporated that detail, like they've drawn attention to that detail through the narrative. But really, it's in the book, right? I mean, it's in the book, but it's in the book. The narrator tells the reader about that, right? We're not led to believe that your average orc in the ranks, recognizes the sigils of Elendil on the flag and responds to that exactly. Aragorn is communicating through the flag, and he does catch the enemy by surprise by doing this. That's all true. But the people to whom he is communicating are the people of Gondor, who totally will recognize the symbols of Elendil. At least, again, the educated among them, the leaders among them, will recognize those. And even many of the common people who will have seen those sigils on statues and in different places, right? That they are seeing the flag of Gondor on the black ships is enough of a wonder. That they are seeing a flag of Gondor which is, unlike any flag of Gondor that has flown in their lifetimes, but which they've seen, in other, which sigils they've seen, on coats of arms and statues and things in the King's Hall and stuff, that would register, right? And create even more wonder. I mean, the experience for the people in the city of Gondor when they see the banner unfurled on the ships has to be not just, because it's not just surprise. Like, honestly, they have to almost be feeling like, the king's come back from the dead, right? I mean, it's like that something from history has appeared, not just allies, unexpectedly. That's enough of an amazing surprise under the circumstances. Anyway, yeah. So Rosewolf, I think there's no question the orcs would recognize that it's not a sigil of their allies. Yeah, and they would recognize it as a Gondorian flag. They would know the White Tree, right? I mean, that's something they would certainly be familiar with, and that's presumably enough for them to be confused and taken by surprise, because all of a sudden now these are their enemies instead of their allies that they were expecting. Yeah. And it is also possible, Fingon, circling back to Beater and Biter, it is also very possible that Gondolin and the Hobbit was not 8,000 years ago. Yeah, Gondolin and the Hobbit is something different. It's a recycling of the Gondolin concept. It's not the same Gondolin concept. Though I would hesitate a little bit, Fingon, because we don't know exactly how long, and the way that Bilbo refers to Gondolin makes it clear that he thinks of Gondolin as an ancient thing. But it could still be fewer than 800 years ago. But it doesn't, 8,000 years ago. But still, I don't believe that the Great Goblin or any of the other goblins that they meet was alive when that stuff was happening. But, Yeah. Okay. All right. Bregdal, what do you got for me? It's time for another instance? I don't think it is. Aye. The sun shines through the darkened skies of Mordor. We shall be victorious on this day. Have you seen that some of the enemy's numbers flee the battle? I did notice that on the map.
We all must do what we can, mustn't we?
The orcs are fleeing. Still, there are many of the enemy that stand their ground. We must now see this battle through. I shall meet you at Minas Tirith when the fighting here has waned. Okay, you just wanted to check in and say hi, huh? Okay, fine. Good to be keeping up with Bregdal. Okay, so then all I have to do, right, honor and treachery is done. So all I have to do is just the epic. Okay, no problem. We'll examine some slain orcs. Nope. All right, we're checking to see which ones are only mostly dead. Yeah, no, nothing to do but go through his pockets and look for loose change, I guess. Okay. How many of these do I have to examine? Oh, an indefinite number. Aha! Okay. All right, this is 3. Is that going to be enough, I wonder? No. No, it's not. Hey, Radanir! What's up, man?
Cursed orcs. They should have the decency to stay dead.
I know, right? It's so rude. It's almost like those goblins that keep yelling posthumously. Isn't that annoying, Radanir? I already killed that one. Okay. All right, that cues your dialogue, huh?
I was wounded not long after we arrived. Cowardly corpse.
Cowardly corpse. Some cursed orc was pretending to be dead, and he leapt up and gave me a good slice with his serrated blade. I repaid him in kind, but I will live and he will not. There he lies, and pretends no more. Dark-hearted villain, cowardly corpse. Okay. All right, commotion from the northwest. All right, hang on. Got a commotion over here. Oh, can't jump over that apparently. Okay. Corunir is shouting at a frightened Gondorian man, and Halbarad seeks to restrain him. What's going on, Corunir? Corunir? Yeah, Corunir, not Corunir. That's a little bit different. It's a subtle difference, but an important one. Corunir, I remember meeting you in Angmar. I'm gonna go. Halbarad, what's going down here?
Easy, Corunir. Let the man have some room.
Yeah, seriously. Control yourself, my friend. Halbarad sees you approach and calls to you quickly. Gryfflet, I could use your help learning what has transpired. Corunir is beside himself with anger, and I fear what he might do if we cannot calm him down and quickly. Yeah, Corunir, what's up?
This man spews lies, poisonous slander.
We have come to the aid of his city, and he repays us with poisonous and treacherous slander. I would have his head for the things he has said. He is lucky that Halbarad stays my hand, or I would put an end to his vile whisperings. Yikes. Okay. Let's have a sampling. Amigil, what is wrong with you?
We soon found ourselves fighting back to back with these rangers.
I came through the gates onto the Pelennor to fight alongside my brothers and the rest of the city guard, and slew more than my share of orcs and the evil men that fight with them. Oh yeah, you look like a real go-getter there. You got no armor, you've got no weapons. I can't see you because I can't see you. Yeah, look at you. Yeah, you look like a, you know. Yeah, you look ferocious. Great deeds were done, and I dare say we could have had the victory even without the arrival of this man and his ranger kin. Really? Okay. Yeah, so you're grudging the catastrophe, are you? But the press of battle moved us hither and thither, and my contingent of soldiers soon found itself back to back with these rangers. We fought against the orcs for some minutes, and shared our names as soldiers do. The bond that is formed in battle between men on the same side is a strong one, and blood spilled in battle unites men like nothing else. That is when I learned that I and my brothers were fighting alongside a ranger named Golodir. Golodir! I knew the name well, for had it not been in the conversation of every man in the garrison, hated Golodir, Ranger of the North and friend of Gothmog, commander of the enemy forces. Yes, it was the very same. Really? They've heard of Golodir? And calling him a friend of Gothmog? That seems wildly improbable. Like, I mean, Golodir's had his issues, but how do they even assuming they knew about Golodir's difficult history, and his earlier dealings with, the false king. What was his name before? I'm totally blanking. Mordirith, that was it. Yeah. Even if they knew about the stuff that happened with Mordirith and Golodir in the north, how do they even connect that with Gothmog? Like, I thought that, like, we, the player characters, were the only people who knew because we're the only ones who had the history to know that Gothmog was Mordirith, right? But anyway, yeah. Imrahil has regained some of his courage and stands tall. Well, I know that Derufin and Duilin witnessed Gothmog's return in Osgiliath. It's not that Gothmog is going to be unknown, but that he is also Mordirith, and what that means. How is that known to anybody in Gondor? That's my question, if you see what I mean. Yeah, I mean, Gothmog said something about it to us. I mean, but even that, like, I have a hard time believing that Derufin and Duilin would even have been able to understand, like, to follow that conversation, because they didn't have the context for it. And that, again, this is even assuming that anybody knows the story of Golodir of the North, of the far north, like that they knew what was happening in Angmar. It's just, as Gaffer Gamgee says, it takes a lot of believing. Well, I know it's easy to misunderstand when you're hearing without context, but that's what I mean. Like, did he mention Golodir? That is, did Gothmog mention Golodir? Like, is that a connection that could be... I mean, I don't think so. And if Denethor did see something in his Palantir, he's not going to be telling randos on the street like this. Okay, you see, Gothmog mentioned Golodir and Osgiliath. Okay. I'm not remembering that. If that's the case, then it would hold together. That Derufin and Duilin would talk. I mean, even about something they didn't understand, that's easy enough to believe. Okay. Sure. I'll buy that for $1. I don't remember what he said exactly about Golodir. But okay. All right.
Them's Golodir, that hated ranger who allied with the enemy.
Well, I made it no secret what I thought of him. I told him that he fought on the wrong side, and that he would find his orc friends elsewhere on the field. I told him he should do us all a favor and cast himself upon his own sword, and so repent of the dark bond he shares with Gothmog. I'd tell him the same were he here right now and regret nothing. Well, that's a little harsh. Yeah, no, I remember the encounter with Gothmog. I remember that it happened. I just do not remember the whole conversation. I did not remember the specific mention of Golodir. But I believe you. I believe you. Okay, when men such as he join hands with evil ones such as Gothmog, they deserve nothing but the curses of good-hearted soldiers, and that is what he had from us. I do not know where he has gone. He is likely gone to join his friend Gothmog and do some harm to the city or its defenders. I do not doubt it is so, and if this ranger thinks otherwise, then he is a fool. Okay, well, so... Corunir, what do we do about this?
All of them. Lies!
I hear you, Golodir. I hear you. Tell me that this man should not pay for such vile utterances. You put a hand on Corunir's shoulder and tell him quietly that Gothmog is another name for Mordirith of Angmar, and that you have no reason to doubt he shares some connection with Golodir as a result of their experiences in Carn Dûm. All of the fight and bluster departs from Corunir then, and he sinks to one knee. How can this be? Yeah.
Mordirith was slain.
I know it, right?
Golodir was free of him.
Yeah, I thought so too. We have to find Golodir, Gryfflet. These men of Gondor may have worked some tragic mischief with their words, but it might still be prevented. Tell me when you are ready to go, and we will set forth in search of him. My helmet of wrath. Yes. My Pelennor field cosmetic is almost complete.
We have to find Golodir before it is too late.
Agreed.
We have to find Golodir before it is too late.
Okay. Imrahil does not repent of the words he spoke to Golodir, but he did tell me which way he seemed to go. Here to this encampment of orcs. We may yet find Golodir if we hurry.
Quickly.
Okay.
We may not have much time.
But I can run faster than you, stealth. Alright, no problem. If you'll tank for me, Corunir, I can take him out from behind easily enough. Oh yeah, the one shot, so satisfying. All right. Golodir, Thrúgrath.
Golodir!
Oh, there we go.
Run away, little man. I will not run from the like of you. That is a pity. I could use the sport. I have ended the lives.
Isn't this the troll we were looking for?
You will not.
Who was it who was
This encounter.
talking about him?
Not. But I will be satisfied to give my last, removing you and your master from this.
Oh yeah, Elfmar. It was the one who killed Elfmar. Yeah, that's right. Nice. Oh. Oh, that's happened to me a lot of times, Golodir.
Golodir, you poor fool.
Foolish? I do not think so. My old friend. I was tormented by Mordirith for years. At last,
Despite his broken body, Golodir smiles at you. I am satisfied, Gryfflet. If the Gondorians know what they speak, then my death will see Mordirith defeated. Corunir, my friend, when this war is over, I ask that you ensure safety for Wenda. Oh wait, help, remind me. Man, it was so many years ago. Wenda, I remember his daughter died. That was like the big plot line back then. Who was Wenda? The Dunlending girl he befriended. Oh yes, that's right. Okay, I remember, yeah. Golodir is quiet for a long moment. When he finally speaks again, it is for the last time. It is enough for me to die thinking of Lorniel, as always. Oh man, the Lorniel quest line. So good. He is gone. I do not know what to do, Gryfflet. Yeah, I remember the Dunlending girl. That was cool. Friends gathered to remember Golodir, but there is little time to mourn.
It was an honor to call him friend.
Golodir has had his vengeance, and now he will have his rest. None have earned it so well as he. He endured so much in the high chambers of Carndum, and in the months since he escaped that city, but he was never free of the false king until today. No man here would have questioned his loyalty if he chose to remain in the north. Each of us would have understood, knowing what he suffered, and knowing that it was enough. But Golodir knew his duty, and did not seek to count it fulfilled by his hardship. Nay, he journeyed with the Grey Company all the same. It was an honor to call him friend. Golodir, the most tragic of the Northern Rangers, comes to his tragic end.
My heart desires to mourn Golodir. There is not time for that now.
I will not say that Golodir should not have come on this road, Gryfflet. I will not shame his memory by wishing that he had stayed behind. It was his duty as he saw it, and he performed it with dignity and without question. He will always have my gratitude. But I keenly feel the sorrow of his loss. My heart desires to mourn Golodir, but I know that there is not time for that now. The battle continues, heartlessly, never caring for the friends we have lost. That is one of the cruelest hurts, that we must set aside our grief and go on, lest we lose that for which they fought. Raviolin says, petition for Lotro to stop killing my favorite rangers. Yeah. Yeah, I hear you. All right, Corunir.
I cannot believe he is gone.
I know. I spent so much time on this journey worrying about what he was feeling and worrying about what he had endured that I gave little thought to myself. But now, there is just emptiness. What do I do now? You take Corunir's arm and speak your own quiet words. Words of grief, words of comfort, and words of duty. I almost wish we got progress bars for those. None hear them but Corunir, and when you finish, he nods. You have seen sorrow too, Gryfflet. I hear it in your words. I will think on what you have said, and I thank you for saying it. But Aragorn is right. The battle rages, and it will not wait for us. Helmet of Wrath, here we come. Oh yeah.
It is time.
Who's speaking? Aragorn, still? No, Corunir. What does it mean to fight, Gryfflet? I will fight to honor the sacrifice of those who no longer can, to honor that for which they fought. I will take the field with you, and I will make the enemy remember my fallen friends. Tell me when you are ready, and we will make them fear us. Okay. Talk to Corunir in the ruin of Pel Dúven and take the field. Okay, we're just gonna go. Yeah. It's just time to go beat on stuff with Corunir, right? Okay, hang on, because we got it. Dun-dun. Okay, we just got our new runes and traceries there. Well, the helmet is actually pretty much an upgrade. Okay, alright. Cosmetic outfits, here we come. Oh wait, hang on. Boom. All right. We're almost there now. Do I have... okay, I need bracers or gauntlets of some sort of wrath. And then a cloak. And I'm good. I think I got all the rest of my wrath stuff. Yeah. Almost a complete cosmetic set. Nice. Okay. All right. Gryfflet looking very Battle of Pelennor Field right now. Okay. And yes, it's an exaggeration to say that the Lotro people killed all the rangers. Several of them survive. All right, Corunir, let's do it.
For Golodir.
Oh, another Corunir instance, huh?
Fight onward. The battle is not yet ended.
Halros and Horn. Oh, it's the Halros and Horn segment. Hey, Horn. Gryfflet, I have not seen you since the morning, and I feared the worst. We have a brief reprieve for now, and it will not last long. I have seen such horrors, so many good men lost. You know, I had an unexpected bonding moment with your dad, actually, Horn.
There's been so much death today. When will it be over?
I will fight until my chief tells me to stop.
Okay, Halros, formerly from the
King fell on this
borders of the Shire.
and now I have another.
You will fight for him, I warrant, until this land is made safe?
Right?
The time for such questions is over, my new friend. Our enemies try another assault.
Oh. That guy just went straight for me, huh? Other way, Halros. What do you say, Horn? This young ranger, this Halros, is able to do his duty without questioning it? Did I ever have that strength? I know that is what is expected of me, and I came here to prove it, but if I was more like him, would I be able to fight on this field without regret? It weighs me down, even as I know why I must fight. But so many have died, and still the hosts of Mordor pour onto the plain. I thought I could protect Nonna and our child from harm, but I see now that there is no hope of that. There are too many evils arrayed against us. No, there's totally hope, Horn. Don't give up hope. Protecting Nonna? Your limbs are held by a powerful force, Odo.
You think the tide had turned?
It's Crúmgam!
The might of Mordor was not thwarted. It was merely redirected.
Okay.
Kill them all.
Alright, Crúmgam. It ends here. Can I can't... No. Come on, Halros, you got this! No!
You show great strength of will, but it will not matter.
Alright, we've got this, Corunir. Come on, Corunir. Oh, yeah. You're going down, Crúmgam.
My death means nothing.
Actually, it really kind of would mean something.
Have inflicted what hurts I could. And that fills me with gladness as I die.
Is he about to explode or something?
Mordor.
Is that why Corunir's getting out of range? Yay! We got Crúmgam, who's fully healed and also on fire. Crúmgam has been defeated! Yes! Callanglad! Yeah, hang on a second. Poor Halros. I could not move, Gryfflet. It was fell sorcery, and I was powerless. Horn's breath comes raggedly, and there are tears in his eyes. Halros sprang to my defense and took the blows that were meant for me. He died in my place. There was nothing I could do. Good old Halros. Yeah, Druid's Fire, you're right. The bad guys need protection from Nana. It's true. Kalinglad. What's up? You're the bald ranger whose backstory I always remember. I'm really sorry she's not into you, Kalinglad. But I'm glad you're moving on, you know? It's really important. There's no time to mourn, Gryfflet. We have to find Aragorn, for I fear he has gotten too far ahead and may be surrounded by his foes if we do not aid him. Okay. Oh, it's Gothmog! Oh, big confrontation! Ooh, he grew like 2 feet.
You are a long way from home, Duilin. One is others.
Oh, the correct singularization, too.
You come.
These are my friends and my kin.
Oh, shucks, Aragorn. I'm so honored.
We have come by dangerous roads to put an end to you and your evil.
That's right.
I am afraid you have wasted a journey, for I cannot be ended.
Unfortunately, that seems to be true.
Tethered to the pitiful ranger Golodir, and to this world. While he lives, I cannot be slain.
About that. Alfred thinks that's hilarious.
You are a fool, no matter what name you wear.
Yeah. I'm going to go for the mighty knee.
Before you die.
Let's see how mighty his knees
Golodir
really
is
are.
slain. He came south to the aid of Aragorn, our chief. He felled the Olog Thrúgrath and died.
No. He suffered such grief. How can it be? How did he muster the strength to come forth?
Oh! You chucking stuff at Aragorn? Hey!
Servant of Sauron, hearken to me. There is no future for you, or for your master.
He just killed
You know
Halbarad?
my name, and the name of my mighty ancestor. So too do I know yours. But hearken to me, Gothmog and Mordirith and Eärnur.
Oh, the shaft
I
of
have
light.
come out of the years of darkness.
Yeah.
To defy your master. Look
at that.
All for which he stands.
That's right.
Sauron will fall.
Yep.
And Mordor will perish.
Ah, the orc's running away.
The darkness of true oblivion.
Nice.
The dawning of a new age is upon us. Be gone, for there is no place in it for such as you. Be gone.
Actually, better stay here and get killed. Ugh. Halbarad.
Halbarad, my loyal friend. I am glad I was able to see.
There is too much sorrow in this field, Gryfflet. Gothmog flees, and my anger will follow him. But this is not the day he will pay for the hurts he has caused us. It is not this day. Yeah, Ravioli, it is cool, isn't it? For all those times when the Witch King and company put the dread whammy on you, and now Aragorn turned the tables and hit him with the hyper hope. Yeah, yeah, yep. Yes, yes. Yep, dour handed to the very end, JJ. You are right. Let us make for the city. I have lost too many friends today. Well, with with Halbarad, I think he's the last, right? I think we've seen everybody else from the song Who Dies, Die. Sakalbar, whom we only just met in the battle. Corunir. Duinhir. Poor Duinhir. Langlas. Yeah, one of the most obscure of the Rangers. Lothrandir. Still around. Kalanglad. Éomer. Gléowine. Gimli, Legolas, Eladon, Elrohir. Horn. Improbably surviving. Radanir. You're right. Technically, Halbarad isn't in the song. He's mentioned in the prose list that leads up to the song. Are you sure? Yeah, no, I'm sure you're right. You've always got the text there to hand, JJ. Yeah, I figured you would be looking at the text when you said that. Yeah, right. No, that makes sense. But still, I mean, the song and the passage, right? Yes. So, I've talked about the Horn decision before. If we got nothing more than what we get right away here from Horn, I would not love it at all. His survival. I mean, like, look, I love the Horn and Nana story. I think the Horn and Nana story might be my very favorite, like, new story in the whole game. Like, I love the Horn and Nana story. But I would still have rather had Horn die, as in the book, unless they pay it off more than they do right away. My biggest disappointment with the Horn and Nana story is that the lack of his abandonment of them, his reference to protecting protecting Nana and their child is one of the most promising things, but like his abandoning them and going back with his father into the I didn't love how that was handled. Yeah, well, yeah, thank you, Goja, for not for not doing spoilers. I'm delighted to hear that there's further development of this story. That's what I have been sort of hoping and trusting would happen. But again, yeah, what we get in the immediate aftermath in the battle was less than I was hoping for. So I was totally willing to proceed with trust that more would come. So I'm delighted to hear that I shan't be wholly disappointed in that, at least. We'll see what I think of it when we get there. But, okay.
We all must do what we can, mustn't we?
Many have been slain this day, but we fought valiantly. No life was lost in vain. Now the task begins to prepare for what is to come next. The fires of Mount Doom still glow from behind the mountains of Mordor. What the Dark Lord has planned I do not know, but I can say for certain that we must do all within our power to stop his plans. Okay, good idea. All right, so that's Bregdal finished. Imrahil's still just riding around. Yeah. Who's over here? Pelennor warrior rewards? Did we get, like, barter tokens for these dudes?
I haven't slept in days.
What are these? Necklaces and ancient Ithil coins? What are these? Oh, they're raid rewards? Huh. Okay. I see. Is this for, like, if you do the things and like do the instances on like tier 2 and 3 and whatever. Okay. All right. That's fine. Okay. To Minas Tirith after the battle. To Minas Tirith before the battle. Okay. 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 Still disappointed that this guy isn't Barriadir. Sakobar, do you mind if I call you Barriadir? I mean, everybody else probably does, right? Wait, we didn't see Forlong die. I guess we were just kind of to assume that he was going to perish there with Gléowine. All right.
We have the victory.
The battle is over.
It has cost us so much.
Save for a few pockets of fighting on the outskirts of the Pelennor. Even those will soon be done. We have achieved this victory this day, but it has cost us so much.
The city stands, and Gondor remains unbound.
Things might have gone differently were it not for many sacrifices. I am weary in both body and spirit, weighed down by sorrow. There is anger, too, anger at the forces of evil that have taken so many of our friends from us, but it is the sorrow I feel most strongly at the end of this terrible day. A new quest. The Battle of Pelennor Fields is at an end, and Gondor has seen victory. However, the city of Minas Tirith has succumbed to much death and destruction. Imrahil, Prince of Dol Amroth, has summoned you to his side as he begins the task of rebuilding the city. So a whole nother set of Minas Tirith quests? I'm in. I'm in. Okay, let's see. Talk to survivors. Okay, there we go. We got the honor and treachery quests here. Okay. I see. Druid's Fire says it's like Helm's Deep and how you didn't see Hama's death until a flashback afterwards. Right. Yep. Yeah, exactly. Hama's death was totally something I was looking forward to. You know what I mean. I didn't want him to die, but I didn't want to miss it either, you know.
So much death. So many lives lost. And for what?
The armies of Mordor are repulsed, for now, but who can say they will not return? Is this the victory we bought with all of our dead? Good men will no longer return to their homes, and for what? A day of peace? A week? I cannot believe this is so. The Ranger Halros took the death blow that was meant for me. I spoke only a few words to him, but now he is dead. Did he leave behind a wife, a child? What chain of events put his feet on the path that ended here on the blood-soaked Pelennor? Is it truly to be the end of his tale? Is this to be the end of mine? Horn wears a haunted expression, his unblinking eyes glazed with tears. He does not seem to see you anymore. I thought I was a man of Rohan, but if this is what it means to be such a man, I cannot bear it. That man is dead. Horn died on the Pelennor, and I will cry no tears for him. The old songs are just songs. They were never more than lies. I see the truth now. Okay, so that's a sad place to leave Horn. There's the sort of... it's almost... It's not comical. This is not a comical moment, but it's like on the verge of... It's a little bit funny, right? The way that they're trying to have their cake and eat it too. Like on the one hand, Horn is in the song, right? So it was part of the horrible pressure of the Horn and Nana plot in the first place that we always knew Horn was going to die because he's in the song, right? And that gave a kind of, that sort of flavored the whole storyline, right? That we knew Horn was going to die, right? I cannot blame them, and a large part of me rejoices that they chose to have mercy and spare Horn, right? Again, part of me says his imminent death was part of what made that story so beautiful, actually. But I'm a sucker, and I can't blame them for sparing him and allowing that story to go on and possibly giving Horn and Nana a happy ending. I certainly want Horn and Nana to have a happy ending. So I totally get that. the way they're kind of trying to have their cake and eat it too, to enable Horn to survive like that while still like technically having him die, is a little bit. I don't think I would have gone there. I think I would have just been like, okay, look, if you're gonna make that change, if you've gotten so attached to the character of Horn and you want to give him a happy ending, or at least have the possibility of his having a happy ending, then just do it. You know, just like, just you know, straighten up and do it. Just change the text. They have changed the text already. So like the kind of halfway is awkward. It's a little awkward, right? But we'll see. I will see. I remember for hoping when I first did this, hoping for a lot more follow-up with Horn, other than this one speech, right? And I don't remember getting a whole lot of it. So I will look forward to hearing more from Horn. Horn, you need to process, right? You need to process. I'd suggest seeing a therapist. Go visit your wife. Meanwhile, I'm going to talk to Gléowine here, because that's always good.
I am saddened to hear Horn speak this way.
I heard his words, and my heart goes out to him. But I am saddened to hear Horn speak thus, Gryfflet. Where is the man who spoke to me of fighting for home and hearth, of fighting for the glory of Rohan and the honor of Theoden King? Where's the man who made the hard choice to leave Donna behind and make her world more safe than it was? But Theoden is dead, and many others beside. I no longer recognize the Horn that speaks to me on the ride from Rohan and assuaged my own doubts. That Horn is dead, slain by the horrors of war, if not by its weapons. I do not want to forget that man, Gryfflet. I want the world to remember Horn as I knew him once. I want the world to remember every man who died here. Harding of the Wold, Guthlof the Bannerbearer of Theoden, hot-tempered Fastred, and doughty Grimbold. Grimbold! We didn't see Grimbold die! Oh, man! Grimbold was my favorite, and we missed it. He died off screen. They will just be names to the folk that come after, but to me they were men. Good men who fought and died for the promise that their lands would once be safe. It was that promise that Horn tried to explain to me, but I did not understand it then. I think I understand it now. I will remember the names of the men who died here today. I do not want them to be forgotten. That's right, Gléowine. Gléowine is just the gift who keeps on giving. Okay. Duin here is overcome with grief for his sons and pays no mind to your words of comfort. Poor Duin here. Oh man, I've got to like flag down Imrahil here.
This is a hard day, but we have victory at the end of it.
During the battle, I encountered men bearing the body of Theoden back to the city. They carried to a woman, Éowyn, niece of the king. They thought her dead, but I perceived that she lived. I sent them to bring her to the healers instead of the dead house. Her life is in their hands now. Excellent. Okay, so we'll go find Éowyn. That's good. Hey, Barry-dear.
Have you seen Gléowine?
Don't tell me. Yes, I did. Not for a while, though. He's a man of Rohan, yellow of beard and hair in a pony's tail. I met him during the battle, and we fought side by side, but I have not seen him since the early hours of morning. You tell Sacklebar that Derewina was slain. Oh, right, slain when the Witch King descended upon Theoden. Yeah, I did see him, that's right. I feared that fate for him. You feared he was going to be slain when the Witch King descended upon Theoden? You are a man foresighted, Barry-dear. Okay. Alas, for Lady Winsig of Rohan. I wish it had been different. I am glad to have met Derewina and call him friend, though it be for but a few moments during the battle. It is cruel of war to make us bid farewell to friends so soon upon meeting them. Yeah, Horn's having the same kind of issue there with Halros. All right, Amir, what do you say?
Who can say how long this victory will last?
The battle is nearly over, Gryfflet, but who can say for certain how long this victory will last? My uncle and my liege has gone to his father's, and I rejoice that his last day was filled with glorious deeds. Many beheld the might of the mark on this day. Éomer grows quiet, and when he speaks again, he speaks in a low voice that only you can hear. I will be king of Rohan now. Is it merely my hope's fancy that I believe the curse of Wirgenda has run and is now ended? Much grief followed in the train of Fenkel. His kin died and his kingdom fell from honor, but Theoden King lifted Rohan once more to the height and mended the might of the mark. Can you say it is not so? Sleep easy, Wirgenda. You have been paid, and under the rule of Éomer, no such injustice as was done to you will be done again. That's right, Éomer. Lay it to rest, right? I agree. What was I going to say? You notice? I love that. Did you notice the alliteration that they were slipping in there? Mended the might of the mark, right? Very good. Very good. Okay. Gimli.
Well done. Well done. We have pushed them back for now.
I am just happy to be off the ships. I was not made for the sailing life. Indeed, I was still a little queasy for several minutes after we arrived at the field of battle and was not at my very best. The fighting set me right before long, but I hope wherever we go next, the journey will be by land and not by river. Okay. Though really, Gimli, I get pretty badly seasick. I get pretty bad motion sickness, and river travel isn't that bad. It's really not. Okay. So my hope, Druid's Fire, is that Gimli will change his tune, and that we'll see Gimli with like a brightly colored cummerbund and like pirate Gimli riding the seas would be phenomenal.
I think Gothmog will find he values his life more highly now that it can be lost.
He will not dare to come forth in battle for some time. During that time we need to determine our course of action, but I do not know what is best to do. We need time to heal from our hurts and to mourn our dead. We cannot take much time for it, and certainly not as much as they deserve, but still we must. Aragorn smiles wryly. Galadriel saw much of today, I think, but our actions and our choices still have meaning. Nothing is set. Your deeds today and those of our fallen friends mean much to me. Thank you for your courage and your loyalty. I take neither for granted, and I appreciate them both. It will take both if we are to defy Sauron as we defied his servant Gothmog, and put an end to the evil he brews in his dark land. I salute you, my friend. Let us heal our hurts, let us remember our dead, and let us think of tomorrow. There is still much that must be done. I'm guessing with the to be continued thing that this was the end. This was Endgame, right? At this time, so this is the end of the Battle of Pelennor Field, and was the end of this release of the game. That's certainly what it sounds like. But we get Book 7, Chapter 1. The battle is all but ended now. Jump astride the horse over there, and it will speed you from these killing fields, taking you to the aftermath of the battle. I will speak to you again once we have established a pavilion at which I can plan our next step. I do not think it would be right for me to enter the city at this time. All right, so we've got, the pavilion of the captains out on the field. But I'm going into Minas Tirith first, I think. All right. Oh, there they are. The Riders 3. Uh-oh. Ulf. Oh, dear. You all right? Ah, Gryfflet, it is good to see you here at the battle's ending. Leofdag's murderer is slain, and the day is won. My brothers and I felled this troll as it made for the gates of the city, but I am afraid my strength is spent. Worry not for me, it is nothing that rest and healing cannot cure. Once we see the rest of the field swept of foes, I shall take a trip to the baths or to a fine bed. When next a battle calls to us, I trust you shall fight at my side. I hope we see the Riders 3, down in Umbar. Hutha! So this is the great ram the enemy used to penetrate the gates of the city. It is both impressive and dreadful, a masterwork of the enemy's evil. Oh, yeah. This is grand here, isn't it? Yeah, look at that. Of course, it would still be right next to the gates, wouldn't it? We could not have defeated that traitor without your aid, my friend. I am gladdened that dear Leofdag is avenged, and that another enemy of our people lies broken on the field. Does the light burn in your eyes too, Gryfflet? In our journey to the fields, I had begun to wonder if the skies would ever clear again. Let us hope that it promises better days to come. Yeah, I know, I've not been in the sunshine in a long time. Poor Gryfflet. Been years. What a day this has been. Our foes were without end, and yet we triumphed against them. Leofdag is avenged, and my brothers and I can now rest without the fear of a traitor lurking among the ranks of our people. Out from the darkness a new dawn has burst forth, but what it shall bring, I know not. Our rest is well earned, but we cannot linger long while the enemy contemplates his defeat. Another battle lies just beyond the horizon. I only hope we are prepared. Well, we're going to fight with them, presumably before the Black Gate, right? All right, cool. Okay, so that ends the Riders 3 quest. I hope we meet them again. It's always so cool when they turn up. All right, so we're going to go to Minas Tirith after the battle. Okay, so this area is the threshold of the city, technically. Okay. No, that's to the Field of Onslaught. Wrong horse. Before the battle, after the battle. Okay. We did it! Finished the Battle of Pelennor Field! Okay. And now we're into territory I have no idea. So I had played through the Battle of Pelennor Field before with... because, I mean, I didn't do all the side quests, so some of that was new. But, of course, the main quest line I had done in the epic with Wiggin, my other character. But did it in a whole big marathon one day. But I was assiduously avoiding all of the side quests with Wiggin, which means I did go straight from here to the Pavilion of the Captains and straight through up into the Mordor stuff. In fact, I think I did that. I think in another marathon, I think I did from there, from right after the battle, all the way through the destruction of the ring. I think in one marathon. So that means I didn't do any of these things in the city. So this will all be new story for me, which I'm excited about.
Gondor needs your aid.
Okay, what do we got? Oh. Okay. What? Why can I not do these? Why are all these undiscovered? I've been to all these places. Why all of a sudden are all these places I've been to undiscovered? I haven't been to the after-battle versions. There's an after-battle version of Lynn here. Oh, in the new expansion. King's Gondor. Aha. Gotcha. Okay. Great. Now I'm with you. That's great. Good. Fantastic. Okay. Love it. Love it. I want a version of the Many Partings chapter that takes like 100 game hours to play through. That's all. That's all I want. I want to go back into every single town in the entire game that we've been through, and I want closure on every plot. That's all I ask for. It's really pretty simple. Okay. All right. So we're looking around. We lost a statue. Do I get to repair them all now that I've identified them all? Okay, so we got horses for before the battle, to the threshold of the city. Oh, swift horse to the 6th circle. That might come in handy, I'm guessing. Yeah, Hologrow, I was so excited to hear. Like, lots of people were excited about Umbar, getting to expand outwards and discover new terrain, and that's cool. It's not that I don't like that, but I am like 10 times more excited for King's Gondor than I am for Umbar. You know what I mean? Like, new plot lines are great, but closure of old plot lines is what I really crave, right? So, yeah. Phil, exactly. Returning to Wildermore, helping them once winter has passed. Yeah, no, exactly. That's all the places. I want all the closure. Okay, let's see. So where am I going? Speak with Imrahil. Where? Oh, he's out the gate, is he? Just wait till Bingo Boffin goes to Umbar. Okay, Bingo Boffin with a cummerbund, like bare-chested with a cummerbund and a parrot. Yeah, that's what I want. That's what I want to see. All right, we've got Húrin, we've got, it's just Barriadir, and we've got Prince Imrahil here. Okay. Woo, here we go. It's on. I'm glad you were able to come so quickly to aid the efforts here. There is much to be done. Look, finishing up tasks is what Gryfflet is. Quests, technically, not tasks, but Gryfflet, that's what Gryfflet's all about, man. Side quests galore. Here we go. Let's get into the life of Minas Tirith after the battle.
I thank you for coming.
You're welcome. While there is much work yet to be done in the city, you and I are now needed elsewhere, at Aragorn's pavilion upon the Pelennor, where we must take stock of the day and plan for the future. Come, I will meet you there. We shall see what Aragorn has to say. Okay. Hold your horses, Imrahil. We got stuff to do around here, remember? Okay. Although the battle is won, many of Sauron's minions took to hiding within the walls of the city, hoping to ambush the stragglers and wounded during the confusion of battle. We cannot allow these creatures to stand. We need to search for any signs of incursion and eliminate them. The people of Minas Tirith have paid a great price for war, and I wish not to expose them to any further panic. Okay, agreed. Let's defeat Morgul lurkers. I accept. Even though the siege weapons of Mordor have been silenced, the city continues to crumble in their wake. Many of the surviving citizens of Gondor have found themselves at the mercy of a ceaseless tide of slag and debris, and we do not have enough resources to search under every corner of the wreckage. We have already begun our rescue efforts, but I would ask for your assistance in the rescue of any Gondorians that still remain buried. Whoa. Search free trapped Gondorians buried in rubble? Yeah. Okay, little search and rescue operation. As we rallied men for the siege, we ordered barricades to be constructed at the junction into every district. They were completely useless, as always, but we constructed them nevertheless. These obstacles were able to slow the enemy advance, I'll believe that when I see it, but now we're finding that the structures have created a bottleneck into the upper reaches of Minas Tirith, which was the point, right? But I understand, we need to disassemble them now. Okay, we need the ability to move troops and wounded throughout the city freely, and in order to do that, we will need someone to locate and dismantle the barricades that lead up into the soldiers' tier. Okay, great, can do. Okay, wait, there are 3 major plot instances in the Houses of Healing. Unless they've changed it since I played it through at launch. You have to complete each daily quest 3 times to unlock them all. On the one hand, that's really tedious. On the other hand, totally worth it if I get to do plot-related Houses of Healing instances. So, we'll see. Okay. I don't want to miss the Hands of the King quests. Okay. Yep. Yeah, exactly. If we get instances which are scenes from the book and the Houses of Healing, yeah, I'll grind dailies for the sake of doing that. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. All right. The weapons of the enemy dealt many great blows to the city, and we find ourselves concerned with the growing threat of ruins of flame. If left unchecked, these fires could reduce the lower reaches of Minas Tirith to nothing. The task is arduous enough that I have asked Rathon, Warden of the Wells, with command over the efforts to quell the flames. Seek him out for assistance, Gryfflet, as I'm sure he could use someone with your level of insight. Okay. I will help the Warden of the Wells to put out fire. So we're firefighting, we're doing search and rescue, we're looking for lurkers, we're dismantling barricades. Okay. During the siege, the enemy sought to intimidate us by volleying the remnants of our fallen brethren into the city. Yeah, and their heads, I remember. Our people kept their resolve, but we would like to put those remains to rest. We were able to clear most from the streets, but word has come to me that some still linger on the outer walls, and my hope is that you will be able to locate and collect the last of our fallen. Whoa. Find and collect the disembodied heads that were lobbed into the town for proper burial. That's not a quest I saw coming, but probably should have, actually. Many tools and supplies were brought to the lower reaches of the city in order to support a prolonged siege, but it would seem that those preparations were unnecessary. We've been using those supplies to provide continuous shipments to the Houses of Healing, and I'm hoping that you'll be able to fulfill this next delivery. You want me to run around and deliver things. That takes me back. I would ask you to scour the first circle for any intact shipments and bring them to the cart that is located nearby. Okay. Okay. Well, of course we have to pick up an empty barrel, Phil. We don't want to put the disembodied heads in a full barrel. We want to empty barrel o' heads here. Why does it keep saying us there? That's kind of weird. What's up with that? Huh. Strange. Also, see, so picking up an empty barrel, Phil, is not what disturbs me. What disturbs me is the size of the barrel they want me to pick up in order to fill with decapitated heads, right? That's a little disturbing. That's a little disturbing. Oh, Miley Holmes, that's a really great question. Something I've thought a lot about as I've been writing my book. So yeah, let me talk about that. Okay. Map. There's Aragorn's pavilion. Causeway forts. Okay. I wish I knew why it was saying us. That's so strange. Okay. What time is it? Oh, still got half an hour. Would I prefer it say we? Well, it depends on the case, JJ, right? I mean, okay. All right. There is much work to do here on the workers' tier. Let's get to it, I suppose. Okay. So, Miley, while I run about, I now finally... Actually, I'm going to get this milestone here. I now finally have quests that I could... During the Battle of Pelennor Field, it's been hard to answer lore questions. Let's see, where do I want to... yeah, let's replace the warstead of the King's Men in Farinorian by all means. Okay, great. I now have quests I can answer lore questions while doing. Okay, so Miley, So Miley's question was, what exactly was in Bilbo's behavior that scared Gandalf so much that he started to research his ring? I mean, he knew Bilbo had a great ring, so sooner or later he would act like that. No? Gandalf could have assumed that. Okay, so no, actually he could not. When Gandalf said... So first of all, for the record, I don't even believe Gandalf when he says that it was obvious from the beginning that that the ring was a great ring and that he always knew that. I don't actually think that's true. But we can talk about that more another time. He doesn't know, in fact. He doesn't know what's going to... what happens when a mortal takes and keeps a great ring. He talks like he does to Frodo because he's found out a lot since then. And what he has found out, there are two really important pieces of information he gains between the time when he has that confrontation with Bilbo and the time he talks to Frodo in Chapter 2. And one is his long interview with Gollum, where he really sees... So he's had his confrontation with Bilbo, right? So he was observing carefully what was happening with Bilbo. He's now learned about what happened with Gollum and how that went down. And he also read the scroll that Isildur wrote, which also shows evidence of Isildur's very early influence by the ring. This means that by the time he comes to Bag End again in Chapter 2, in the Shadow of the Past, Gandalf knows more... Hang on a second. This is just a housing broker quest, right? Yeah. The only quest I ignore, generally. Oh, I can redo this rubble piece? I get to re-rescue this dude? Anyway, sorry, what was I saying? I was saying... Oh, yeah. Gandalf, by the time Gandalf gets back to Bag End, he is the only person ever in history that has been able to study, not just to interview a mortal who held a great ring, but has now direct testimony from 3 different mortals who have each held the Great Ring. Sauron's ring, right? Bilbo's ring. Aren't the heads up here on the gates? On the walls? Am I right about that? Whoa. Almost went the wrong way. Oh, didn't know these were up here, but all right. Looking for heads. Anybody see any? There's one. They tastefully don't actually depict them as bleeding heads. Okay. Anyway, all right. So that's one thing, Miley. He now, Gandalf now has a clearer picture than anyone has ever had. Nobody really knows what would happen if the Great Rings fall into the hands of a mortal, because it's never happened with the exception of the Nazgul. There have only ever been 3 mortals who have ever held, but Nazgul accepted, who are not available for interview. There are only 3 mortals who have ever held a great ring. What would the... Oh, it's a lurker. And Gandalf, again, now has first-person testimony from every single one of them. So the confidence that Gandalf speaks with when he is talking to Frodo about... what happens to mortals when they take a great ring. He's not just like spouting lore that all of the wise know. he is telling Frodo things that he has learned since he had that encounter with Bilbo. So that's one thing to keep in mind. Another thing to keep in mind is that so let's go back to your original question was what alarmed Gandalf about the interview with Bilbo. It was a really quite alarming conversation with Bilbo. Gandalf did not suspect that the ring was corrupting him. So what did he see? If you read that scene carefully, and again, I wrote a whole chapter of the book that I'm working on right now. I wrote a whole chapter of my book doing a close reading of that whole scene with Gandalf and Bilbo. It was the longest chapter in the book so far, actually, because there's a lot going on in that scene. But what you notice when you go through and read it really carefully is that the way the control of the ring is manifested. Hang on, I think I can go down from the walls now. The way that the ring's control is manifested is that it infects Bilbo's will. Bilbo and Gandalf had a plan. Bilbo had agreed to give up the ring. And then, after the party, Bilbo's all like, no, I'm not giving up the ring. Right? And the way he gets there, right? He has he first starts kind of questioning it. Why not? Right? Why shouldn't it stay in my pocket? Right? Anyway, and then you see it's not just that it happens, that we see it interfering with his will. He makes decisions, and then his will is altered. His will is changed. And even there are times, especially even at the end of the conversation, when Bilbo has made up his mind and he makes a decision, and he's trying to act on that decision, and he physically can't. Like when he tries to having decided at the end of the whole thing that he's going to give the ring to Frodo after all, and he's going to put it up on the mantelpiece, right? Even then he can't. He tries, and his hand jerks back and drops the envelope on the floor. Remember that? And Gandalf has to pick it up and put it up on the mantelpiece. And even then, he gets mad. Warden of the Wells, good to see you. These are really alarming signs that Bilbo's will is altered like this, that there's this division in his mind. Gandalf concludes really clearly that there is something wrong. This is not just like a normal symptom of any kind, right? There is some other power that is influencing Bilbo's will, and that is seriously alarming. So, and then of course we see, and the ways in which it influences his will, as the conversation spirals downwards, and Gandalf is clearly caught on the hop. Like he did not expect what was happening. He's very surprised. You can see the surprise. Gandalf's reactions, as they're described in that scene, show that he is surprised, and the things that he says, like he puts his foot in it several times. He does not know what the right thing is to say, and he says the wrong thing a couple times, right? So he anyway, so he we can see that he wasn't expecting it, and that he's making an alarming discovery about how Bilbo is being influenced, even controlled, by the ring, and the directions that it's pushing him towards secrecy, towards selfishness, towards anger, and violence, even towards his friends. Bilbo is like this close to physically attacking Gandalf during that exchange, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And he knows. From that moment, he knows there is something seriously wrong here. This invisibility ring that Bilbo's had for a long time, I never thought it was a great idea for him to keep it. But holy cow, I did not see that coming, right? That's Gandalf's reaction at the end of chapter 1. And he then goes and researches it and gets clear information that this ring is Sauron's ring. Okay, anyway, sorry, Rathon, Warden of the Wells. Without access to the cisterns, we are left with scarce amounts of water and very few measures for controlling the blaze. However, we do have an abundance of fine sand, which should prove adequate for our needs. As we have already collected much of it into rucksacks, seek out whatever bags you can locate and use them to smother the flames. Why don't we have access to the cisterns, Rathon? What's wrong with that? What's wrong with the cisterns? I remember the cisterns. Okay, so there was another element. Oh, the last thing I wanted to emphasize, Miley, concerning your question. A thing that's, I think, very often misunderstood, and I think it's completely misunderstood in the movie. I think that the way that the movie handles this is very, very different from the book in ways that people don't realize. I suspect this to be an actual misinterpretation of the book. And I'm talking about when Gandalf intervenes, the whole Gandalf the Grey Uncloaked moment. Look, there's a fountain right there that's still running. Why don't we just get water from that? Yeah. Anyway, okay. Where's... Did I put out all the fires? Still oh, there's one. Anyhow, so you may remember in the film how they depict Gandalf's action, and especially how they depict Bilbo's reaction. Gandalf is just like scaring Bilbo, basically, right? Bilbo Baggins, he says, and Bilbo's like, whoa, right? And then Bilbo, like, apologetically goes over, like a scared little child, apologetically goes over and hugs Gandalf, right? That reaction is really kind of touchingly done, right? I'm not saying I hate that scene in the movie. I'm just saying it's very, very different from the book. What Gandalf is not intimidating Bilbo at all. Like, that is not what is happening in the book. He is helping Bilbo. He is setting Bilbo free. Bilbo is under the influence of the ring. The ring has its grip on Bilbo's will and on Bilbo's mind. Gandalf is fighting against the ring. He is putting his will against the will of the ring, and he sets Bilbo free. He doesn't do anything to Bilbo. He just, like, gives Bilbo the breathing space actually to what am I supposed to do with this herald? He's just standing here and I got nothing for him. He enables Bilbo to make a choice, right? Bilbo has been trying to assert his will, but his will is being inhibited. It's being restrained by the ring. Gandalf frees it and enables Bilbo to follow through on the choice that he was already trying to make. But just really, like, I was going to say physically, but it's not exactly a physical thing, which he really wasn't able to make. So anyway, like, that's, it's not even about Bilbo. He is, and I think even the thing about, like, him growing and his shadow filling the room is not even what an objective observer would see. I think it is what Bilbo is seeing under the influence of the ring. The ring is trying to divide him from Gandalf. That's what it's been doing the whole time. That's what we see it doing the whole time. And in that moment when Gandalf is like stepping forward and threatening the ring, that's the ring's last desperate... My reading is that that's the ring's last like desperate attempt to turn Bilbo against Gandalf. And that's why when Bilbo is set free, Gandalf seems to shrink. Because he's no longer being controlled by the ring in the same way. Okay. Anyway. Yeah, thanks, JJ. JJ gave us the text. Here's the text when Gandalf confronts him. They stood. Bilbo backed away to the wall, breathing hard, his hand clutching at his pocket. They stood for a while facing one another, with the air of the room tingled. Gandalf's eyes remained bent on the hobbit. Slowly his hands relaxed, and he began to tremble. "I don't know what's come over you, Gandalf," he said. You have never been like this before. What is it all about?" "It is mine, isn't it? I found it, and Gollum would have killed me if I hadn't kept it. I'm not a thief," whatever he said. This is the beginning. That's the beginning of Bilbo's transformation. And again, it's, there's this like attempt to sort of say this is all Gandalf's fault, but the transition has begun there. Anyway, it's a really fascinating scene, but Gandalf makes it explicit that all of the things that he did... Oh, look, it's another herald waiting for, presumably, a future quest. What was it? Gandalf makes it explicit that what he saw, like watching Bilbo freak out, basically, the evidence that he saw of the interference of the ring in Bilbo's will is most definitely what inspired him to do the research he went on to do. All right, there's all the supplies. I thought I'd have to deliver them up to the next level and to carry them up to the next level, but I guess not. I still haven't dismantled any barricades, and I still have 3 more lurkers. And I still got to find some more remains. But oh, yeah, barricades right here. Okay. Presumably, I got to go back up on the walls and go the other direction a bit. Where's the... barricades one is the wounded path, huh? Okay. So yeah, let me go over this way. Looks like I may be able to finish this first round of quests. Today. Yeah. And again, I would emphasize, Tomas, just what you're saying. The differences between the films and the books don't really bother me at all. In fact, I had an awesome... So yesterday, I was at the recording studio, and I was recording for one of the video projects I'm working on through the Signum Collaboratory. Maggie Park and I are kind of applying our Other Minds and Hands stuff, all of our discussion of adaptation. We're sort of applying that in long form, to the Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings films. Because, the films are awesome and really, have meant so much to so many people. And so we're really excited to go through the Peter Jackson films and really do a thorough discussion and analysis of the films and think about them as adaptations and how they're working and, you know, the stories that they're building and what's going on. And yesterday we recorded our first segments of that discussion in the studio, and it was so much fun. Our first episode of that video series is on the prologue, the Galadriel prologue of the Fellowship of the Ring. And so I sat in front of the camera with the the film playing in front of me and the ability to, you know, pause it and scrub forwards and backwards and stuff. And I did a solid hour of analysis and discussion of that first 7 minutes, and it was so much fun. It was really interesting to me because when I was watching it and taking notes, you know, kind of thinking about this and planning for this, I found myself like getting annoyed by a bunch of things and being like, well, that doesn't make sense. But then we're like, oh man, I don't want to be grumpy, you know, when I do the video about it. I want to, you know, talk about their story and their version of the story and what they're doing and all that kind of thing. Okay, I think I'm gonna have to go down in the streets to, let me just make sure there aren't any other scattered footprints up here. Anyway, so but when I was sitting in front of the camera and actually doing it, you know, discussing my way through it, that I wasn't feeling like that at all. And it was so much fun. I loved the discussion. Those of you who know me and my discussions will probably not be surprised to hear that one of the motifs of my entire discussion on the prologue was the voices of the verbs that they use all the way through. When they use the active voice and when they use the passive voice in that prologue, so cool to look at. That was one of the things that really struck me, and I thought was awesome. Anyway, I had so much fun with that. Really looking forward to that. I'm going to be sharing that raw video with the members of our project room in the collaboratory here in the next couple days. So that will be that'll be a lot of fun. So anyway, that was cool. Yeah. Anyhow, yep. Let's hang on. Come on now. We got is this the... Oh good, that's my last lurker. Phenomenal. Now I just have those barricades, which I think I just saw. Yes, I did. Okay, and these are the final barricades. So I think this is it for the first round of quests. Yes. Excellent. All right, and we finished them right here at the bottom of the ramp up to the second level. Okay, first round of quests done. And okay, so I only need to do each daily once to unlock everything. Oh, great! Well, because I generally do them once anyway. Right? I don't repeat them. I don't grind them usually, but you know, I've been a bunch of these that I'm doing are dailies. So good. If I only have to do them once, then I won't even have to think about it. I'll just continue my quest completionist thing, and we'll work our way up towards the Houses of the Healing. That's fine. Yeah, I didn't get any of the Houses of the Healing stuff when I came through here with Wigand, because I just did the battle and then moved on towards Mordor. Okay, let's see. Okay, so you do 6 dailies to unlock an instance, do the instance and unlock 5 dailies. Okay. Again, if I only have to do them once, I have no objection. No objection. Even should the quest be a daily quest, I have no objection to doing it, once, certainly. Having to log in on a different day and do it again is tough. because basically Gryfflet would be they'd be weeklies, right, for Gryfflet, and that would delay things potentially. But okay. All right, Húrin, what do we've got for you? Yeah, I put out the fires. Rathon is a clever sort. I wouldn't have expected the Warden of the Wells to rely on minerals as his solution. We've calmed the flames for now, but new threats will likely emerge. As long as we remain aware of the danger that still exists within the city, we will overcome this dark chapter. Happy to help, as always. Gryfflet's about to go to 108. Right, these quests are 105s? Yeah, they're 105s. So I can go up to 108. I can go all the way up to 109, basically, before freezing it again. Okay. Húrin, you wanted the bucket of heads? Even in the wake of carnage, I still cannot believe what the people of this city have endured. The enemy used every vile tactic that they could, but the will of Gondor did not break. I only hope that we can give these fallen a comfortable rest, and that Mordor's treachery sits at our heels. That's a strange way to put it. Okay. Everything up to the Black Gate's fall is all 105. Okay, so at 109, I'll freeze him again. But it looks like probably we'll get it up to, well, certainly we'll get up to 108 next week, I think, at this rate, especially with all these quests I'm completing now. We will make sure to send this shipment up to the Houses of Healing at once. I'm sure they have no shortage of need for warm blankets and medicinal aids. You are welcome. Okay. All right, Prince Imrahil. What do I owe you? Oh yeah, I defeated the lurkers. Your efforts have weakened the enemy's presence throughout the city, but we must remain vigilant. Even though his armies were vanquished, the spies of Sauron linger, and will do his bidding until their last breath. Our vigilance shall certainly remain. Okay. It seems that the challenge to the lower city is far more extensive than we thought. We may have to divert traffic from these areas in order to avoid further crises. It pains me to see so many who failed to flee during the siege, but hope remains strong as long as we continue our rescue efforts. I thank you for your continued service to the people of Gondor. No problem. And... oh, the barricades. Well done. Those barricades served their purpose, but are no longer needed. Clearing a path into the upper districts will allow us to move additional men and material throughout the city more freely. Okay. Ooh, interlude. A dream of cold and silence. I was hoping to find you. A messenger from the Houses of Healing was seeking you on behalf of Peregrine the Halfling. You should go to him in the High Hall of the Houses of Healing and learn why he summons you thither. Doubtless you would have seen him sometime today in any event, for I know you have been doing much throughout the city to help in the aftermath of the battle. Okay, so hang on. Hang on. Did this quest open up because I did the dailies? Is that what just happened right there? So this sends me up and I do this. I should go and do this next and then do more? Okay. Okay. So I shouldn't, like... my first inclination, of course, is to be all completionist about it and be like, no, first I'm going to complete all the ones on the lowest level and then I'll go to tier 2 and work my way up to the Houses of Healing. But okay. But if this unlocks the next round, then what we'll do is next week, 'cause I know I'm at time. I gotta stop just in time to finish the first round. So I not only finished the battle, I finished the first round of quests inside Minas Tirith. Very exciting. But so for next time, I will begin with this quest, talk to Pippin, and then we'll see what that opens up. Because, yeah, I can't continue because I got no other leads anyway. I got no other quests down here. Okay, so I'll do this, and then we'll get more quests. Great. Okay, so basically, the 3 Houses of Healing instances serve as, they like pace the side quests in Minas Tirith after the battle, right? Okay. All right, cool. Now, I don't insist on doing quests on every tier of the city all the way up. If they don't want to make me redo a year's worth of Minas Tirith or whatever it was, 9 months of Minas Tirith, I'm not gonna insist, right? Okay. So next time, Houses of Healing. And we'll see. Maybe we can do the whole Houses of Healing sequence next time. Who knows? We will see. Next time should be next week. I will be here next week. As far as I know, I will be here next week. I'll be gone the week after that. I'll be down in Orlando for Sunshine Moot. But I will be here this coming week, so we should get 2 Gryfflet weeks in a row. And then actually, well, no, I'll be gone again. It's okay. Next week I'll be here. Let's just settle for that for now. All right. Thanks everybody, and I will see you guys again soon. Druid's Fire's up next. So I will see you guys next week. Bye. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.